Hi everybody, it's Mark Boardman here. It's now Sunday afternoon. I'm just going to go through the trades from my trading room on Friday the 31st of August, which are here. You can see them highlighted. It's quite a lot to talk about today, so I'll crack on straight away. We'll start with a one here, which was a Euro Yen long. We got the signal from the 15-minute Fat Man. That gave us a 5-minute chart entry at 98.11. If we look at the chart here, this is the Fat Man signal just here. Let me just put that on the pointer and you'll be able to see where my arrow was here. We had the euro here hitting the floor, and they always snap back. Remember, they always snap back, and as that hit the floor and snap back, we saw this purple line here. Again, that green line, there's the euro, the green line. These currencies always snap back. Remember, when they hit the floor or they hit the top, they always come bouncing back, and that's all we wait for. It's the FX trend catcher. So this is the signal to say, look at the euro versus the yen. That's the euro strengthening, yen weakening. What does that mean? That means a euro yen long. Okay, we just then go down the time frame, so in this case to the euro yen 5-minute chart, and if you see here where my arrow is here, that's where we got in the trend early. You just wait for the green volume price analysis here. So for the first time in Forex trading ever, we've now got something that takes into account volume, and it's volume that, by the way, validates breakouts. You have to have this volume to create this indicator. Without this, it doesn't work. But this is where we got in here. Can you see that green trend dot, the green heat map, which is your 3 trend speeds all kicking in together? There's your signal to enter. All right, so we stay in the trend all the way up through to here, and we got out of the trade later on that day. That was a 72 pip trade, which for a 5-minute chart is a very good trade indeed. Okay, the next one, very similar time. Also the euro was strengthening at the same time on the 50-minute Fat Man against the US dollar. So if we have a look at that on the Fat Man again here, we can see it's the same green line. We've also got the light blue line here heading south. That's the US dollar weakening, euro strengthening. So we had 2 trades on at more or less the same time here, the euro yen long and also the euro US dollar long. If we look at that chart, it'll look very similar, and here it is. It looks almost identical. The euro strengthening here. We got the signal from the Fat Man to say it's a likely trade. We then wait for our 3 greens here. We enter the trade, and we don't exit until we get the market closing below these green crosses, if you can see them. Now it's these green crosses that crucially kept us in the trade as long as it did. There would have been areas here where other traders would have exited the market. Where I'm circling now, that would have been a classic exit point for many traders because of that candle pattern there, if you can see. Okay, it looks like it's going to top out and come down again, but this volume price analysis indicator here makes sure that we stay in. And the number one key to making money in Forex, above all others, the absolute number one key, is to get in trends early and ride those trends. Okay, because that makes all the maths in your favor basically when it comes to making profits. So there were the 2 trades off that Fat Man there. Now I'll come back to this pound Kiwi in a moment. Let's now go to this Aussie yen here. This was on a 60-minute Fat Man. Okay, in fact, about 45 minutes after we got the signal for those 2 euro, we then got a euro trade on the 5-minute. We got a signal from the 1-hour Fat Man to go long on the Aussie yen. Let's have a quick look at that. If we look at the 1-hour Fat Man here, we were here, and at this point here, if you can just go back to the pointer, you've got the yen here, the purple line. It's hit the top. They always come bouncing back to the halfway line. So if you can see here, that purple line is heading south, and as that's heading south, this red line here, can you see it heading north with a lot of momentum? That's your Australian dollar. So around about here, we're stalking this pair, the Aussie yen, and all we do is we go to the Aussie yen and we wait, and this is what happened here. Can you see? Let me just go to the pointer and we wait. Now this is where the Fat Man was saying get ready. Can you see this point here? That's not when you enter the trade. You have to wait for the green volume price analysis to kick in, which was here. Can you see? So this is where we entered the trade, and then you wait for the market, which it did here. Can you see where my pointer is, to close below the crosses? We wouldn't be out here, we'd be out here. Can you see there? So that was the Aussie yen 15-minute trade, which gave us a very modest 4 pip profit there. Okay, so we had a 72 pip profit on the euro yen, a nice 89 pip trade on the euro dollar, and a small 4 pip profit there. Now, let me briefly mention that at this very similar time that I was long on the euro yen in a 5-minute chart, I also had a hedge trade which was a 1-minute short that didn't actually work out. Let's have a quick look at that. We look at the 5-minute fat man, and this is the euro coming down here against the yen. Can you see here the euro green line coming down with the yen strengthening? This is on a shorter time frame, remember, and this is where we'll enter the trade where we got 3 reds. So now we're looking at a euro weakening against a strengthening yen. In other words, a euro yen short. This is where we entered the trade, and the market stopped us out here for -7 pips. Okay, the main thing about this strategy is it gets you out of almost all the losing trades quite quickly. Once in a while you get a volatile move, and it does happen, and you know, one of your losers will be bigger. But more often than not, far more often than not, when you get losing trades using this FX trend catcher system, they're small losses, as you'll be able to see when we summarize the pip profit and loss. Okay, now one of the trades I put on at the beginning of the week was up here on Tuesday. I put a trade on the pound versus the Kiwi. If we have a quick look at the fat man here on the 4-hour chart, can you see this dark blue line? This orange line, apologies, this orange line here, this is your pound hitting the floor, which means they always bounce back. So the pound's going to strengthen, and what did we have heading south? We had a dark blue line weakening. So at this point here, I'm looking at a pound Kiwi, that's a pound versus the New Zealand dollar long trade, and you can see it here. This is the one here. So we waited here, so this is roughly where you see the white dots and what have you. Where my arrow is here is where we start to get the signal, and we wait and we wait and we wait. Why do we wait? Because they don't always kick in. Alright, that fat man indicator on its own is not enough. You have to wait for your volume price analysis to kick in. Now look how important these crosses are. Can you see how the crosses acted as support here? The market did not close below. I mean, we were in a loss-making situation straight away here, but those crosses kept us in the market, and they did it again here. Can you see this? This is where a lot of traders were coming out of the market. We stayed in. Why? Because volume price analysis, which are these indicators here working together, volume and price together, kept us in the trade, and that's the number one key to making money. We didn't come out of the trade until here. Can you see? Alright, that bar there is where we came out, and that made us over 3 days, that made us 176 pips profit. Now what I then did was took a signal to go short. In other words, once I was out of the long position, I took a signal to go short. So if we now look at the fat man here, we'll see that the pound here, the Kiwi's heading up, the dark blue line now is strengthening, and the pound's starting to roll over. So that gave me a short signal, but I was stopped out because that pound, can you see where it curls there? It didn't keep weakening, it got strong again there. Can you see that curl? And that's what happens every now and then. You get a losing trade, and so if we look at the chart, that's what happened. As soon as I was in, I was taken out by this pretty volatile move in the market. Alright, but the great thing about the system is that it's got something called a crash barrier and the crosses to get you out as quickly as possible. So in the last 2 weeks of recording these trades, so far that's the biggest loser at -55 pips. Okay, so this week so far we've had a 176, a 47, a 72, an 89, and only one significant loser. Now what else do we have? We also had, I took in the trading room a Kiwi US dollar long. This was on the 1-hour chart based on a 240 fat man. That's the 4-hour fat man. Let's have a look at that. Similarly, this Kiwi here, I noticed as we were getting to this point here, the dollar, which is the light blue line, was curling over, so I took a short on that. If we have a quick look at the actual trade itself, which is here, okay, and this is where I exited the trade. Why? Because it was Friday late evening, and I don't leave trades on overnight, so I left that with a 14 pip profit. Okay, so basically this on Friday I closed that position out there. I also took that was from Tuesday, and then I also had quite a few other trades that placed on the day, as it were. So to summarize for this week, we've made 291 pips profit. There are all the trades. Last week we made 160 pips profit. So far over 2 weeks we've got a 451 pips profit. Okay, if you're wondering if this is the first video you've seen how this system works, it's based on volume price analysis. Okay, it's based on volume price analysis and the currency strength indicator. This is your currency strength indicator. These colored lines represent your currencies. You use these to get in the trend early. FX trend catcher, we wait for the lines to hit the top and then they always bounce back, and you just simply trade one of those currencies against the others. It's nice and simple. You don't have to have any trading experience to use this. Okay, once you get the signal to look at a pair on this particular indicator, you then simply go to the chart and wait for all your reds to go short or all your greens to go long. Okay, it's called the FX trend catcher, and it's really all about getting bigger trends, because if you look at this here, this is the track record over the last 2 weeks of the trades I've taken, and you'll notice that you get some really long trends. Okay, your 72, 89, 176 here, 54 here. We've only had one significant loser. All the other losers have been small, and that's the key to making money in the forex market. I hope that's made some sense, and I'm hoping to see you all again in next week's trading rooms. So with that, thank you very much for listening, and see you in the trading rooms Tuesday.